10 games so far this season, 7 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Those 2 losses were to Manchester City, the champions, on the opening day, and to Servette away in a fixture that meant nothing because we were already through the tie. The draw was an absolute robbery of a draw after a refereeing disaster class against Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. Just the 27 goals scored so far for Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. All but 3 out of those 10 games we have scored within the first 25 minutes, which is a day and night contrast to last season. 2 completely different starting 11s who are both gelling, forming relationships, winning games, building momentum, and there is peace in the camp. Enzo Maresca's Chelsea are cooking. The big dog, Josh Aveste. Have I told
cooking.
any lies there whatsoever?
No, I'm just stewing about that intro. That was probably one of the best intros you've ever done to a video, that was.
For a man nursing a severe hangover, I think that was a pretty good intro, to be honest.
You didn't have a big night last night, did you?
Let's not get into that. Let's
if
not
they
get
haven't
into
seen
that.
it, there is a video on Chelsea Fan TV of Joey Knight doing a post-match review. Maybe that would have been a better post-match review than this.
Possibly the worst post-match review of all time. And possibly, very possibly, the drunkest I have ever been on camera.
How many pints did you have last night?
10.
That's a lot.
Just
That's a lot of pints.
Just the 10.
That's a lot of pints. And how many Balti pies?
Didn't have any. I had a Five Guys. Me and James went to Five Guys.
Okay, yeah,
I had a burger. He had the lettuce burger.
Why would you have lettuce as the bun?
The lettuce was the bun, yeah. Yeah.
What, James? So he
James
used all his
Mulqueen
calories.
No, I won't say his address. But James Mulqueen, he decided that a burger bun was too much carbs.
Yeah.
But he didn't mind sinking 10 beers with
10
me.
pints.
So make that make sense. Listen, last night's game, again, I had to have a bit of a blowout last night because I've been a bit down in the dumps after the old Misfits loss. But it was good to get back to Stamford Bridge. Good to see everyone. Always feeling the love at Stamford Bridge. Should we talk about last night's game?
Yeah, why not? I'd rather talk about your Five Guys order, but if you want to go onto the game, why not?
Why don't you, right? Because I'm just going to readjust your camera, but we're doing a live edit here. We've had a lot of problems now. So why don't you, we're having a little discussion off camera. Yeah. Why don't you tell me your top 3 rom-coms of all time while I readjust your camera?
Okay, right, rom-coms. So for me, I do love 40 Days and 40 Nights. You have seen that before, haven't you?
Is that a rom-com?
I think it is a rom-com to a degree. Yeah, why not? It's a love story. It's a story of abstinence, which you often practice.
Sounds like you're describing our relationship.
You often practice abstinence, don't you?
So 40 days, 40 nights? Nah, not really.
Pretty Woman.
I don't go 40 minutes.
Pretty Woman. I love Pretty Woman. And then maybe The Proposal as well. Okay. I love that.
Okay. Well,
Go on,
I will tell you the official top 3
what is
of
the official
all time
top 3?
is very obviously The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
50 First Dates.
Can you sing the song?
What, from The Wedding Singer? Yeah. But it all was bullshit. It was a goddamn joke. Wow. And when I think of you, Linda, I hope you king choke.
Well done for bleeping yourself out there. Because you would have had to do that in post.
There
otherwise.
you go. There you go.
Everyone comment below saying you want more of Joey singing.
Notting Hill.
Karaoke.
Notting Hill. Notting Hill.
Yeah, Notting Hill.
And you know what song's in that? Notting Hill.
Come.
The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes. This is Chelsea Channel, by the way.
Leave me.
The touch of your hand. Right, let's
what
get
would your
into
karaoke song be before we get into that?
Oh, karaoke song.
Karaoke song, what would you say?
Have a little readjust with
Go
your
on.
camera.
You love a readjust.
To be honest, everyone can see that the other camera is in shot there, but fuck it, I don't care. Karaoke song, my karaoke song would be you know what's quite an easy one to sing? What's that? Ed Sheeran wrote it, but it's I think it's One Direction, but it goes, and you'll never love yourself half as much as I love you. You'll never treat yourself. What is that song?
I don't know what you're singing.
Darling, but I want you. I don't know.
Do you know who I was listening to the other day that I really liked? Plan B. Do you remember Plan B?
Yeah.
rapper and a singer.
She said, I love you, boy, I love you so.
And Charmaine as well.
She said, Charmaine De La Rosa.
Is Charmaine De La Rosa
Spanish.
cancelable now? Like, would he be cancelled if he sang that song?
I mean, he's talking about banging. Let's not go into it because this video could have a sponsor on it, and I don't want to upset them. We're talking about Chelsea. But for anyone that knows about the song Charmaine De La Rosa, I say, is that Spanish? She says, yeah. I say kosher. Yeah, very weird song.
Very weird
really.
Song now.
Weirdest song of all time? No,
I wouldn't say so. But do you know what I was saying? What's he doing?
Dance to the Devil. Mortal Technique. You ever heard that? That is
dark.
grim.
Yeah.
That is grim. Speaking of what's not grim is Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. Now let's get into last night's game. Renato Vega opens the scoring after 12 minutes following a very, very impressive header from a very, very impressive cross from a very, very impressive
winger.
Josh's
Wait
boy,
a second.
Mikhailo.
Was that a Joey Knight quote? Because I remember several times when we've sat in the studio this year, you've said that Mikhailo Mudryk isn't good enough. You said that we should offload him.
I have said none of the sort.
You have.
I have always backed Mikhailo Mudryk. I've always said he's right there.
He's the dogs.
He's on the precipice. Do you remember that fella?
Oh, yeah.
I'm right on the precipice. Did you remember that fella that goes...
I don't know who you're talking about.
Thomas Gray, his name was, and he goes, the greatest weekend of my life.
Oh, the comedian.
Yeah,
he's made a video recently, yeah.
Lads, all the lads.
Yeah.
He's an absolute legend. I'd love to get him on. So, Mikhailo Mudryk, in that moment, I thought showed really improved... Intelligence,
Ooh.
I thought, because... I thought he did very well to get himself in the position where he had the space to get that ball into the box. I then thought he did just as well to dink that ball over. And not only that, he took his time in doing it because he understood that the options weren't really there to drill it low like he may have done in the past. He saw Renato Vega arriving and then he finally dinks over a perfectly put ball, but it wasn't put on a plate because Renato Vega still had quite a lot to do. Yeah. John Terry-esque, the header, puts it back across the goalkeeper, and I know we're going to get on to giving Mikhailo Mudryk his flowers, which we will, by the way, after we quickly recap the talking points of the game, but Renato Vega, to me, my friend, is some player.
I love him. I actually love watching him play football. I think that he could be an attacking midfielder, a DM, a left-back, a centre-back, probably could play in goal.
Is he Yaya Toure?
Well, why not?
I think he is.
He's probably just as good at this rate, to be honest with you.
I think probably is an understatement. I'd say.
That header was absolutely exquisite. I'm glad you said it was John Terry-esque because it was. John Terry scored quite a lot of goals. I don't think people remember how many goals JT scored for Chelsea.
JT was a great goal-scoring
It was quite a lot of
defender.
goals.
One of the best goal-scoring defenders. Just having a little rejig.
Here we go.
Off the camera.
Here we
there.
go.
Should we tell him what happened?
Go on, yeah.
We did an entire podcast and it went to pan. We thought we'd salvaged it. We hadn't salvaged it. No. So we're going again now.
Yeah.
Right. We get a second just after half time. Pedro Neto takes us back to the days of the fullbacks bombing on, more or less. I don't think we have seen players running in behind since Reece James and Ben Chilwell were doing it. And despite both still being at the club, it's almost in a way like it's a distant memory of the past.
You're telling me Callum Hudson-Odoi didn't do that for us?
Callum Hudson-Odoi definitely. Listen, I've had a debate here, and we'll do it again. Yeah. You think that Mikhailo Mudryk at this moment in time right now is a better player than Callum Hudson-Odoi, don't you?
Yes, I do, yeah.
I think that's ludicrous, Josh.
Why?
I think it's ludicrous, mate. I think that's...
Why is that harsh? So basically, you're saying a player that we sold for £5 million is better than Mikhailo Mudryk. Young player, got so much talent, could be so much better.
I am, yeah.
You'd rather he be in the squad right now?
Would I have Callum Hudson-Odoi over Mudryk?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do you not...
That's crazy. I rate Callum Hudson-Odoi. I really don't want people to think that I don't rate Callum Hudson-Odoi. I love him. I would love to have had him back. I was gutted when we sold him. But right now, I still think that Mikhailo Mudryk is a better technical player. He's got more potential.
Yeah. Well, we'll speak about Mudryk's performance. Callum Hudson-Odoi has got to be 20... Oh, he'll be young. He'll be 24 now.
Not too bad.
Not young, but it's sort of, I
mean, the fact that, we're in our 30s now and we're saying 24 is young.
God.
It's quite depressing, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? Do you know, when you know you're old was one of the things that I've been most buzzing about recently is I bought a new laundry bin for my bedroom.
And you were buzzing about that.
I was buzzing about it, and that's how I know I'm old.
Yeah,
do you know
Joseph
what I mean?
and Joseph. Is it Joseph and Joseph?
I don't know.
They are the laundry brand.
Oh, really?
Mate,
No idea.
wait a couple more years, you will be getting wet dreams over Joseph and Joseph.
Really? Oh, God.
Quality.
Not the first time anyone's had a wet dream over Joseph. Right. Half time.
I know I have.
Yeah, there you go. Half time.
That goal for Nitto, can we just have 2 seconds? That goal for Nitto was a banger.
Absolutely roofs it. Roofs it into the top of the net and into the top of the netto. And, right, we've got to give credit where credit is due. The pass over the top from Axel Disasi, now, that is exquisite. It's at the perfect time because they will literally feel so... Do you know what it's the equivalent to? Think in boxing, right?
Yeah.
You knock someone down, you think, yeah, you got that sort of confidence high, and that would have been what the manager's team talk would have given the Gent players at half time. You know, we're still in this, only one goal. These lot do concede goals. We can get back into this. We've had chances, you know. I think it was Johnson had a chance, didn't he? Idig Johnson's son, absolute legend, by the way. He had a chance, and they would have really amped them up at half time. We come out straight away. It's like the boxer that's just been dropped. He gets back up and he drops the opponent. It was almost very similar to how Daniel Dubois finished Anthony Joshua the other night.
I was waiting to see that, how long
little
it would
fight
take to bring that
we
round.
were in attendance for.
You were one of the 98,000. How many of the 98 were there to see you?
How many of the 98,000 were available for commentary on the pay-per-view? That's the real question.
We're only doing it again in 10 days. Don't worry about that.
Not 10, is it? It's not even 10.
It's a week.
Not even a week.
Next Saturday.
Oh, sorry, right,
Live stream is on next Saturday.
The actual thing is a week, but we're going...
We're going on Wednesday.
We're going on Wednesday. Yeah. What are you going to watch on the plane?
All of your rom-coms, because I've never seen The Wedding Singer.
Greatest film, you got to watch it. It's absolute banger.
I think I've seen Notting Hill, but I think I saw it when I was 17. So.
Well, Notting Hill the film is nothing like Notting Hill Carnival. Spoiler.
I've heard that. Yeah,
there you go. Now that goal, right? The ability to run in behind. I think like the wingers that we've had so far, probably since, as I say, the sort of fullbacks bombing on days under Tuchel. A lot of them either like the ball to feet, intricate passing to get through. They want to carry the ball and run at players like Noni Madueke will do. Obviously, Jadon Sancho and Cole Palmer a little bit more in a similar mould. Jadon Sancho more of a known dribbler than Cole Palmer. But having someone that can run in behind, when you think you've got the likes of Enzo Fernandez who can dink a ball over the top, Caicedo who can also do it, and it probably goes under the radar that you can do it. Lavia coming back into the team. Pedro Neto is so important for us. And we were speaking before. Right, people, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you about new partners of the channel, Squawka. When you're in the YouTube industry like I am, there is a certain type of service that you could very much do with having on your side, and that is the service that stops you making blunders. And when I'm preparing for some of my videos, I use the website Squawka to use the player comparison matrix, and that helps me get a better understanding of comparing the players that I'm talking about. For example, a lot of you guys know that for every Chelsea game, I put out my preferred starting lineup, and I do look into the underlying numbers of the players I'm picking and the players that I'm comparing, and that's where Squawka comes in. They offer the best player comparison matrix on the internet. The website is so efficient and so easy that even I can use it. For example, when I'm picking from Chelsea's 30 to 40 odd wingers that we've got at the club, I can very easily jump onto Squawka and see how their stats compare. But you don't need to be a YouTuber to need to use Squawka. You could use it for your bets when you're betting on first goal scorer and things like that. It could give you a better indication. Or you could just use it to look like a genius down the pub, and we all like to do that, don't we? So thank you very much to Squawka for not only helping me prepare for my videos, but also partnering up with the channel. So help support me by supporting the guys that support the channel in Squawka. They are linked in the description for this video. Let's get back into it. Is that the spot on the field that is maybe most up for grabs between himself and Noni Madueke?
Yeah, I think so. Like Enzo Maresca's obviously said that there are two right wing options, and those are the two boys that are fighting out for it right now. And I have to say, Neto's performances and I suppose Noni's inability to sort of really make the position his own. And maybe that's harsh because, yes, he scored a lot of goals against Wolves. But for me, I don't think it is harsh because I think he's had other games where he's just been non-existent. Non-existent. And I think I really like Noni, and I probably, by the way, I probably would carry on starting him for, at least for a couple more Premier League games. But my point is that if he doesn't perform in the next 2 Premier League games, I still think there's an opportunity for Neto to come in, and I do think potentially when we signed Neto, I think they've signed him as a number 1 right winger. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think they signed him to be a bench player or a B team player.
I don't think he's dropped that sort of money on someone without the intention. Now I know that people would go, well, look at Mykhailo Mudryk. Yes, but we would have signed him with the intention for him to be a first team starter. But either way, at the moment, what we're seeing is that Noni Madueke is starting the league games. Pedro Neto is starting European games, the cup games, etc. I would not be at all surprised to see Pedro Neto start on the right wing on Sunday. And do you know what?
That soon.
Do you know what?
Wow.
I think I'd be in favour of it.
I wouldn't yet. As I say, I think Noni needs a couple more games, but I understand your logic why you'd want him to play. I think that would be harsh on Noni. And I think a lot of the comments...
Would it not be harsh on Neto? Because he's just scored in back-to-back games. He made an amazing run, roofed one into the top of the net. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. He was probably our man of the match out there yesterday.
Really? You'd give him man of the match, would you?
Well, let me guess who you'd give man of the match to. Mykhailo Mudryk. You would give...
I wouldn't give Mykhailo Mudryk man of the match.
Mykhailo Mudryk man of the match for a match he didn't even fucking play in.
I'd give Vega man of the match.
Oh, he's
class. To be honest with you.
He's class.
So have that.
Yep, there you go. There you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Gent do pull one back. Couldn't tell you who scored it, but I do know it was Eidur Johnson's son who got the assist. Eidur Johnson.
Love him.
Cult hero. Best cult hero of all time.
We did a video recently, and I'm actually a bit gutted that I didn't say that I wanted Eidur Johnson as my cult hero player. Is he a little bit too good to be a cult hero player? Because
he is too good.
He's basically starting 11.
He went to Barcelona from Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not cult hero vibes. And do you know what impresses me so much about this? Right, when Gent pull one back, right, it's the sort of game that last season. So we're 2 up. Gent pull one back. It's the sort of game that last season I'm thinking Brentford away. And there were, off the top of my hungover head, I can't think of too many more. But there are games like that when the team pull one back, and what did we do?
We capitulated.
We shit the bed, mate.
Completely capitulated.
We shit
the mentality
the bed.
Was awful.
Do you know what I mean? And we just didn't have the manliness, thoroughbred about us to be able to get us through those moments. And last night, straight away, we then go and get another one. Now, Vega gets an inadverted assist. I think he was trying to control it to maybe have a shot himself, maybe do something. But Nkunku goes onto it, blasts one low past the goalkeeper.
There was a lot of power in some of these finishes last night.
There was a lot of power in that Nkunku one because it was at the goalkeeper and he still couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
He was looking like Andre Onana in goal last night, that goalkeeper. He had 2 go at him. We'll speak about the Dewsbury Hall one. But what I do want to speak about is Nkunku. Because Nkunku has now got 7 goals in 10 games. Only 5 of those games were starts, right? How close is he to pushing Nicholas Jackson for that number 9 spot?
I think you're going to laugh at me. I think a lot of the people watching are going to laugh. I don't think it's that close. And that is a mad thing to say, bearing in mind all the stats you've just reeled off about the performances, how he's wriggled out and scored unbelievable goals. I understand it. My point is not necessarily...
Winners as well.
Yeah, not necessarily that Nkunku isn't amazing, because I think Nkunku is amazing. And perhaps I would rather see him on the wing or as a number 10. I think ultimately Crispin Nkunku is a number 10. And so really he should be competing with Cole Palmer. But the only reason he isn't is because we signed João Felix. And by the way, he wouldn't get in the team over Cole Palmer. I totally agree with you. We signed João Felix instead of Samu, who, by the way, last night maybe we shouldn't have foregone.
Yeah, you got a couple of goals against Man United. Do you know how many times I tried to drunk and call KG last night?
You tried
I'd say 12, 15 times.
I think he might have blocked your number.
I think he might have, because then it just ended up going straight to it just said, oh, you're welcome to the O2 messaging service. And I'm like, if Chelsea were losing, KG would be belling my phone off. Yeah. And now Man United are only draw. I only want to talk about a draw. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It wasn't even that bad.
Yeah. So,
but speaking of players that aren't that bad, the reason why I don't think Nkunku gets in the team is just because of how good Nicholas Jackson is. Look at his stats. Look at his performances. Look at what he does for the team. It's not just about what he does individually. He makes the runs. He links up play really well, holds onto the ball. He's strong. I like his personality. I think that he's criminally underrated.
Criminally underrated and getting better and better and better. Because when you look at Nicholas Jackson, right, like, he had a brilliant debut season. One of the things that I remember so many times saying is this guy's discipline record is just absolutely shocking. Like, he kept picking up yellows, back chatting, things like that. He's improving on that, improving on individual performances. And again, I'd go along with you and say the exact same, that I don't think, even with how good Nkunku has been in these games, he's in there ahead of Jackson for the league games.
What an awful position that we're in as a football club, that we're struggling to figure out who the best number 9 is. How long have we had that discussion? We've had crap number 9s. Who's been your least favourite number 9 at Chelsea?
Morata.
That is a joke, because there's one that's far worse than that in our lifetime. Far worse.
Lukaku.
Far worse than Lukaku. Think about the transfer fee at the time.
What, Shevchenko?
No, think of a player that's even worse than that. You ready? I'm going to tell you. 3, 2. My old man had this guy on the back of his shirt and he cursed him. Sutton.
Chris Sutton, yeah.
Chris Sutton, we signed him for if you use him like
where
inflation.
did we sign him from? Blackburn.
We signed him from Blackburn. The inflated value is like 100+ million quid. He scored 2 goals for us.
Oh, that's horrific, isn't it?
That was so bad.
That's bad.
So we've gone from
at
Chris
least
Sutton,
Mattia Kesman scored in a final.
At least he did. Even Adrian Mutu was an unbelievable player.
He's great at sniffing out a chance.
He got in trouble, didn't he, Adrian
He's great
Mutu?
at sniffing out a chance. In fact, I'd say play-wise, great at breaking the lines.
Do you know what? If we were using the squawker comparison matrix right now, I don't think Adrian Mutu's key stat would be in that comparison matrix. No. But there would be a lot of other stuff to value.
There's a lot about Adrian Mutu on the internet, funny enough. Moving swiftly on. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, he gets the final goal that we scored a match. Obviously, they scored a little consolation one after that. I'm not going to talk about that. No. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, best game so far in a Chelsea shirt?
I think so. I thought he was really, really good. Obviously, I think you're right in what you were saying earlier on, in that he didn't have the best first 15 minutes of the game, but grew into it. And then I thought he was everywhere. Like, you look at the way he was. Like, do you know what was funny? He scored that goal. It was 70-odd minutes, wasn't it? And after that, he just had so much more confidence. And like, even the last 20 minutes, I thought he was even better than he was for the rest of the game. I'm actually really excited for him. And I do think he's going to find his feet. A lot of people have been saying he's been injured and he isn't fully fit. I'm looking forward to seeing when he is fully fit, because we signed him as a player that, I mean, ultimately was going to replace Conor Gallagher. And I think you and I have questioned whether he is as good as Conor Gallagher. I thought that was the first game that I'd seen him in a Chelsea shirt where I thought, comparable.
I think he's stylistically a completely different player to Conor Gallagher.
But he's ultimately going to be compared,
mate, I always say it, I keep it real on the channel. I'd like to back him because he's now a Chelsea player. As much as it pulls on my heartstrings, Conor Gallagher's not now a Chelsea player. But for me, at this moment in time, I'm so glad that he had a good game last night. I hope this form now continues. I hope he continues to press. And I do think that he will be a bit of a mainstay in that midfield in at least the group stages of this UEFA Conference League campaign. But he's nowhere near Conor Gallagher's level. He's nowhere near.
But also, not only is he nowhere near Conor Gallagher's level, he's nowhere near the first team, is he?
He's nowhere near Lavia's level. And I feel bad for him because, again, it's like us comparing Nkunku with Jackson when it's not really his position. A deep-lying midfielder is not Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's position. He won... Well, no, he didn't win Player of the Season, did he? He won Leicester's Player of the Season, I think, but he didn't win Player of the Season in the Championship.
Was it Somerville?
It was Somerville, I believe, who's now at West Ham,
yes.
is he? Yeah.
Not really taking the World Cup.
Mate, West Ham should be doing better.
They should.
For the signings they've made.
The squads,
yeah, they should be doing better.
Yeah. Do you know who I was gutted, by the way, a midfielder that wasn't in the squad last night? Do you know who I'm going to say right now?
No.
Carney
Chukwuemeka, what is going on?
He wasn't even on the bench.
What is going on?
He can't even make the bench for the B team. And I thought against Barrow, fair enough, like no discredit to Barrow, but he came on, he looked unbelievable.
He's always looked unbelievable when he comes on. I think there's such a good player with Carney Chukwuemeka, and I know that you've mentioned the injuries in the past, but I don't think the injuries are even I've not seen any evidence to say that has massively derailed him, apart from obviously the amount of time he spent out. But when I've seen him back on the pitch, against Enzo Maresca's Leicester last season, he comes on, scores a great goal, great little bit of intricate link-up play with Cole Palmer. Carney Chukwuemeka, somewhere, is going to be a great, great player. But unfortunately, I think the writing's on the wall, and it's not going to be at Stamford Bridge.
Where does he end up? Let's not do loan, because I think there's an opportunity that he goes on loan in January. Let's do, where does he leave permanently?
Permanently.
Do you want my answer?
Go on.
I think he goes to AC Milan.
Really?
Can you imagine Ruben, Carney in the midfield, Christian Pulisic on the wing, Giroud up top, Tammy there as well.
Oh, that's sexy. That is
Giroud's
sexy.
gone, by the way, now. But yeah, there's a Chelsea connection there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Even though Carney wasn't a Chelsea Academy product. I think he'd be so good in Italy. I think he'd be unbelievable.
Everyone's good in Italy, though. It's not a great league, I don't think, to be honest.
I love the Italian football. I love it.
You love the Italian women. Let's talk about your boy, Mykhailo Mudryk.
Yes.
1 assist, 2 chances created, 11 touches in the opposition's box, 2 accurate crosses, 6 recoveries, very impressive, 1 foul, 1. I did snatch that from the London Will Always Be Blue Instagram page.
Big up.
Big up London Will
boys.
Always Be Blue. What do you think?
Mate, I'm just glad you've given him a moment of flowers. I think we needed this sort of therapy session because I think you need to, formally apologise first of all.
No.
I think you need to take back everything you've ever said about him, because I remember, just for everyone watching right now, there was a video that we did on the kickoff where Joey and I had a little debate about this Mykhailo Mudryk player, and I think there was almost a tone of he's not good enough and laughing a little bit at him and probably, taking the piss actually a bit out of Mykhailo Mudryk. And I felt personally slighted.
You felt personally attacked.
I felt personally attacked.
You were close to tears.
I actually, when I left that studio, I did cry.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a disgrace the way you've treated him. And I hope you send him a little message now, because he's on Instagram. He probably does see some of these videos. I think you need to send him a little message. Just go, Mykhailo, I was wrong.
Do you know, I do actually think that sometimes. And obviously, listen, I'm fairly... in comparison to other channels, I'm massively positive. But I think around our club, 99% of what I say is positive, right?
Yeah.
And it shows in the numbers, this is not a channel that benefits from negativity. No. When Chelsea lose games, I lose money. Do you know what I mean? That's how easy it works. When Chelsea are winning games, the views go up, everything's better. Yeah? When Chelsea lose games, it goes down. So I honestly don't, really want any negativity. But sometimes there'll be a bit for example, it was a clip, a reel that I put out, and it spoke about the fact that I just didn't think Mykhailo Mudryk was going to come good.
Yeah.
And it does have to make you question things sometimes, because that one reel would probably have, and I can't tell you off the top of my head, but probably have about, maybe across all platforms, maybe 6-7 million views.
That's crazy.
So let's be honest, right? No matter whether you're a footballer, no matter what walk of life you are in, if there is a video about you on the internet with 7 million views, You've seen it
everywhere,
No, you've seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
So you do have to. There's almost mate, when I started off doing this was never supposed to become what it became. Do you know what I mean? This was a little hobby, and I never thought it was going to get like this. But then now there's an element of responsibility. Do you know what I mean? And it's say even little things I'm completely going off subject here, but
no, that's what we do on this podcast.
Exactly, yeah. Even little things last night, I go out and get smashed to a fucking Chelsea fan TV, and Alex, it's your fault, mate, because I always say when I go to the Chelsea matches, I don't get as drunk as I was last night. I could barely string a sentence together, but I'm I don't really want to go on the fan TV, because I do love Chelsea fan TV. I love Alex, Matt, the boys, whatever, Nina, shout out to them all. But I have a drink at the Chelsea matches, and it's probably best for me to not go on camera when I've had a drink, unless I've got you and Brian there to babysit me, and to keep me out of trouble. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is now the channel's grown to the point that I never imagined it was. There is a bit of responsibility, and that's why I've been so vocal in the past. And how much do I sing Cucurella's praises?
Oh, massively so. And you put your hands up very clearly and said I was wrong.
Yeah, I was so wrong about Cucurella. Yeah.
And we can all be wrong about it.
This moment in time, I'm not saying I'm wrong about Mykhailo Mudryk. He had a good game last night.
Wow.
I'm not saying I'm wrong about him. So if you say to me right now, will Mykhailo Mudryk ever become the first choice number 1 starting left winger for Chelsea, and not only be that starting left winger, be that starting left winger that, you know, is going to really propel us on and have us challenging for titles or something like that, right? Maybe that's an unrealistic view to put to it. But if I had to put my last pound on it right now, I'm going to say no, because I'm keeping it real and being honest with my opinions. But if it happens, you know that I'm not going to ignore the elephant in the room. You know I'm going to sit here, look down the camera and say, I was completely wrong. Because I was wrong on Cucurella, and I admit that.
I think what this season has taught me, not just about Mykhailo Mudryk, but also potentially about the manager and also some of the other players. What I think it said is, what I want to try and do is support some of these boys, even when they're in their sort of darkest moments, when we think that they're done. Like, for example, Disasi, I don't think has a place at Chelsea Football Club. I think he potentially could be gone.
I'll tell you what, mate, he had a good game last night. Captain as well.
Right back, captain, and put a wonderful pass through for Neto's goal. But what I want to try and do is kind of, while we can say they're not good enough, I want to also try and back them at the same time. And Mykhailo Mudryk, more than anyone, I think deserves some backing, because I think he's a confidence player.
Now, the last thing I'm going to quickly touch on, and this is what we'll wrap it up with, right? Because it was very fitting that I started the video reading out what an impressive start to this season that Chelsea Football Club have had, right? And it is a complete contrast from the start to the season we had last season under Mauricio Pochettino. But me and you have spoke about this on camera and off camera. We have to give a bit of credit to Mauricio Pochettino, in my opinion, for what we're seeing now, because I think that so many of the foundations for what we're seeing now in terms of player relationships, in terms of player development, and us actually now feeling like a side, feeling like a football team, were foundations laid by Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think while I can understand why the decision was made now and we replaced him, I think you do have to say that the as you say, the foundations, the way that he built this squad, the sort of I suppose just sort of like the adult way that he dealt with everything in the situation meant that we were set up in a way to really progress this year. And I do think if we hadn't had that steadying of the ship, we would have had more sort of turmoil, more trials and tribulations, and we wouldn't be where we are right now. I don't necessarily agree that the sort of like the fitness stuff and things like that are things that we take through to this year. But the way that he built that squad and improved some individual players, I do think you can say that is there.
Well, it's a little bit telling. It's a little bit telling, isn't it? That the injury list, touch wood, is absolutely nowhere near what it was last season. And they were saying that, you know, Pochettino was running them boys into the ground. Yeah. And okay, you know, maybe there was method behind the madness, and at the end of the season it did start to come good, and we did string a real impressive run of form together. And I think that you have to credit how last season finished and put it into context with how this season has started. But my God, Enzo Maresca, in a realistic world, of course, yeah, you could have won every match, but in a realistic world, right, Enzo Maresca couldn't have really had a better start to life at Chelsea Football Club.
No. The way that I'm going to summarise it is this. Thank you very much, Mauricio Pochettino. You are a legend. I love you. I honestly did want him to stay. But the new era of Chelsea is here. And Enzo Maresca has been unbelievable. Improved individual players. Look at Mykhailo Mudryk, how much he's come on. Yep. Even in, 6 weeks of working with Enzo Maresca. Maybe it's been more, a couple of months now with pre-season as well. It's not a lot of time. He's improved all those players.
Small adjustments, moving Cole Palmer into the 10, Noni Madueke looking better, and then being able to keep a harmony there as well, the way he's dealt with the media, everything. Do you know what? Do you know what I say? Best way to get over someone?
Get under them.
Get under someone. And I am under Enzo Maresca. Underneath this video is the link to Josh's channel. Make sure you're over there. Make sure you're subscribed, because this man is banging out the content. And not only that, the big dog is banging out the views, mate. Your views on your channel has been going through the roof. I'm fucking loving it. People, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will see you all for the Nottingham Forest preview.